We are at the halfway point of the NFL season, and the Chicago Bears currently sit at 4-3. And we're going to be taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who have been a very underwhelming team to say the least, especially after their loss to the New York Jets. And the Chicago Bears are looking to bounce back after a pretty brutal game against the Baltimore Ravens in week 8. Oh man, we have a lot to work on for this team. What is up, guys? Welcome back to So Back Sports, and we're so back with another video. And we're doing a usual preview, a weekly preview of this game against the Cincinnati Bengals away in Cincinnati. Before we get into that, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot. We'd love to create content like this for you guys, so feel free to hit that subscribe button, and let's get on with the video. Yeah, as it stands right now, the Chicago Bears are seen to be predicted to potentially win this match because the Bengals as a whole have been very underwhelming to say the least. But we cannot allow that to be, an indicator for us to kind of coast in this game, because any game, any given Sunday, with how crazy the league has been this year when it comes to upsets, any game will be an upset worthy kind of game. So compared to the Ravens, this is definitely a little bit of an easier opponent. I'm not going to say that they're like very easy, but it's like still a step down from what the Ravens are, because the Ravens, they've dealt with so much injury, and they got a little bit healthy, and when they got healthy, their defense looked really phenomenal. And yes, the Bears didn't perform like they should have, but at the end of the day, they did get the job done. So the Bears have to take this really seriously, and I'm pretty sure they are. It's just a matter of, can we get the fundamentals? Can we get the penalties right? Because that's been what's been traumatizing this team and plaguing this team from any sort of competent offense, especially in the red zone. Because good Lord, the red zone efficiency and the red zone offense has been horrendous for the Chicago Bears, especially in the last couple of games. And the one thing that can kind of alleviate that is minimize the penalties, and B, take the easy layups when it comes to the passing game and not run the ball down the middle all the time. We saw in the past that running with DeAndre Swift down the middle is not going to work, because they're just going to load the box and it's just going to be stuffed at the line. And then it would eventually lead to punting. And that's one thing that the Bears, offensively have to really come out in this game. If this is a get right game, this is the best get right game possible. I mean, aside from the Giants as well, but for the Bears specifically, this game, the Bengals are hurt all throughout the lineup. But defensively, this is a very weak team. So that's why it's very important that we take advantage of those deficiencies that the Bengals have. And I'm not saying like that to discredit the Bengals. I'm just saying like that's just the fact and the reality of it. And if the Bears want to be any semblance of be in the playoffs in any sort of fashion, they have to win these kind of games. And especially with the division that we're in, where three two out of the three teams, even the Vikings at times, are in contention for being a good team in this, like, in the playoffs specifically. And Caleb just has to play better, man. Like, they have to, take the layups, take the runs. If you see an open lane, run the ball. And I think that if they can just minimize penalties, take the easy layups, run the ball, and then focus on getting the deep ball accurately, I think the Bears have a good shot to easily coast and win this game. If they don't do that, any of those things, then it's going to be a little bit of a tricky situation where you're going to find yourself in a situation like the Jets did last week, where it's a close game. You're just going to keep them in the game, and they're going to come back and win. So that's something that we have to also look at. Joe Flacco currently is questionable. So if Joe Flacco plays, it's a lot more nerve wracking, because, with the offensive firepower that they have with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, our secondary is going to have a tough time containing them. And even Chase Brown, the running back from Illinois, ILL baby, um, he's going to have a really good time in this the run defense. If the run defense doesn't get itself together, it's going to be a lot of problems for this Bears defense. And Chase Brown is a very capable running back. We've seen him be able to break tackles, get some yards after contact. So if you want to stop the offense, you have to find a way to stop the run game and make force Joe Flacco to get the ball to Jamar Chase, which means you had to blitz them so much because Joe Flacco in the last couple of games realizes Jamar Chase is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and he's going to give the ball to Jamar Chase as many times as needed because that's the pretty much the Bengals offense is Jamar Chase and T Higgins. And if you eliminate and start blitzing Joe Flacco and getting some sacks, making him uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, he is a veteran in this league still. He knows how to play ball at the end of the day, no matter how old he is. You have to find a way to get him uncomfortable in this game. And this is going to be away in Cincinnati, so it's going to be a little bit tougher. And the fact that we, are having a tough time generating pressure is going to be, the big test is this game. And getting a lot of sacks is what's going to be really important, especially with the immobile quarterback like Joe Flacco, who has been actually showing that he has some kind of wheels at this age, which is, pretty impressive. So the defense has to really step up. Since last game against the Ravens, we didn't really generate any turnovers. That kind of led us to have a very mediocre defense. And Montez Sweat has to make his presence felt in this game because, in the couple of games he's been getting sacks, he's been getting turnovers, or like forced fumbles, which has been improvement. But I need to see more out of Montez. I need to see more out of the D line, specifically Austin Booker. Welcome back, man. Like we are glad to have you back because this is such a needed boost after Shamar Turner went out with an ACL injury. Prayers and hoping for a speedy recovery for him. And this D line has a lot to work on, and I hope that Austin Booker can get the ground running because we saw what he can do in the preseason, how he's able to get to the quarterback, how he's able to, make his presence felt. And if he's able to do that along with the D line with Billings, Grady Jarrett, Javon Dexter Sr., like you can have a great time on this defense and make the Bengals offense crumble, as much as we possibly can. Offensively, make sure you consistently get to the run game. But actually, before we get into the offense, TJ Gardner Johnson is officially going to be starting for the Chicago Bears this Sunday. We just really recently picked him up from the practice squad and put him on the practice squad, and he's going to be starting. Yeah, I'm just kind of glad we made some kind of move, especially with how our secondary was so beat up. And we just could not go again with Nick McLeod and Nashawn Wright being our main secondary, main corners, because with all the injuries that we have, and maybe there's a chance that Tyree Stevenson could be back as well. Offensively, we got the report for Wednesday, and all our top four wide receivers are out. I'm not expecting them to be all out by the time the game starts, but I think at least a couple of them will be. Like I feel like Rome, DJ will be back. Luther is definitely going to be out with concussion. So we're going to expect to see more Zacchaeus plays and even hopefully Colston Loveland. If we can get Colston Loveland involved, I'm begging you. This is week 9. I'm begging you, Ben Johnson and Caleb, throw the ball to Colston, dude. You don't understand how important he can be to this offense. And if we can get the ball running, he's just another element to this offense that can help us win games. At the end of the day, you can say a lot about this matchup, but I feel like this should be a manageable win for the Chicago Bears. And if we find this is a must win in a sense. And this is, I mean, if Joe Flacco doesn't play and Jake Browning is in for him, because Joe Flacco is dealing with an injury, like this is a bigger must win. You have to win this game. You have to find a way to win this game. We're too good to win this game right now. We are too good, and you just have to find a way because this is inexcusable, especially with how the rest of our season plays out. We're a bunch of divisional games, the Eagles, and the next easy game we have, relatively speaking, is the New York Giants. So we have to make sure we capitalize on these wins as possible. Yes, the Ravens game, was a manageable win, but at the end of the day, they are the Ravens and they were the better team, and we were projected to lose to them even before the season started. So for keys to victory for the Bengals, pretty straightforward. Like every week, get to Joe Flacco, get to the quarterback, generate pressure, generate turnovers. Caleb has to be better, has to really be better. Get the layups, take the runs if needed. You know, diversify your passing game when it comes to the receiver that you give it to. utilize the run game as best as possible. Don't use DeAndre Swift in the middle. Make sure he goes on the outside because that's where he's most effective. And yeah, just have a whole complete game. We have yet to see a complete game. No penalties. Like not no penalties, but at least limit the amount of penalties that you get. Because we cannot afford to have 79 yards averaging for penalties each game. And that's going to be the keys to victory in this game. This should be a relatively easy win, hopefully, knock on wood. But, you know, I trust Ben Johnson. I trust this offense. Hopefully, this is a get right game for Caleb Williams to get back on track with the season that he's had. That's going to do it for today's video. It's got a little bit of a shorter end of the video. Thanks guys so much again for watching. Always remember to like and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 700 subscribers very soon. I know we can do that together. And as always, guys, we'll see you guys in the next one.